Airline pilot Captain Whip Whitaker uses cocaine to remain alert following a restless night in his Orlando hotel room. He pilots Southjet Flight 227 to Atlanta, which encounters extreme turbulence at departure. Co-pilot Ken Evans takes over while Whip discreetly blends vodka in his orange juice and sleeps. He is shocked conscious as the plane goes into a steep dive. Unfit to regain control, Whip is compelled to make a controlled crash landing in an open field, hitting his head and blacking out on influence. Whip wakes up in an Atlanta hospital with moderate wounds and is greeted by his old buddy, Charlie Anderson, who represents the airline's pilots union. He lets Whip know that he managed to save 96 out of 102, losing 2 crew members and 4 passengers, yet specifies his co-pilot is in a state of coma. Whip slips away for a cigarette and meets Nicole Maggin, a heroin junkie recuperating from a recent overdose in the same hospital. The following morning, his friend and drug dealer Harling Mays gets him from the hospital. Having retired to his late dad's farm, Whip meets Charlie and lawyer Hugh Lang, who explain that the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, performed a drug test while he was unconscious. Results showed that Whip was inebriated during the flight. Hugh promises to get the toxicology report voided on technical grounds and succeeds. Whip visits and soon becomes intimate with Nicole, yet Whip's drinking habits conflict with Nicole's attempts to remain free of drugs. Afterward, he goes to a funeral for Katerina, an airline steward who died in the accident, and with whom Whip had gone through the night prior to the episode. He sees a surviving crew member, Margaret, and requests that she let the NTSB know that he was sober. Whip visits his co-pilot Ken Evans after he stirs from his unconsciousness. Evans has likely lost quite a bit of his capacity to walk and might in all likelihood at no point ever pilot a plane in the future. Although upset, Evans in no way wants to let the NTSB know that Whip was drinking. Nicole chooses to separate from Whip after he neglects to remain sober. Nagging him, the media gets Whip caught after he suddenly drives to the home of his ex and son, both of whom dislike him. He remains with Charlie until the NTSB hearing, promising not to drink. The night prior to the conference, Charlie and Hugh move Whip to a guarded hotel with no liquor. In spite of the fact that his minibar is empty, he finds the way to an adjoining room opened and raids the minibar there. Whip is found by Charlie the following morning, passed out and still drunk. Harling is called to revive him with cocaine. At the hearing, lead NTSB investigator Ellen Block explains that a damaged elevator assembly jack screw was the primary cause of the crash. She compliments Whip on his fearlessness and ability, taking note of that no other pilot had the option to set down the plane in preliminary reenactments of the accident. She then reveals that 2 empty vodka bottles were found in the plane's trash, despite beverages not being served to passengers, and that Whip's blood test was excluded for technical reasons. She then states the only other member of the crew to test positive for alcohol was Katerina. Whip pauses, unable to bring himself to blame Katerina for his actions. He gathers himself and confesses all, conceding to being inebriated the day of the accident. He likewise concedes to at present being intoxicated. A tearful Whip finally admits to having a problem, coming to terms with his alcoholism. After 13 months, a detained Whip lecturing a support group of individual detainees says he is glad to be sober and doesn't lament making the best choice. Whip is seen looking at pictures of Nicole, family, and friend on the wall of his cell, alongside greeting cards congratulating him on his anniversary of being sober. He is attempting to reconstruct his relationship with his child, who visits to talk with him about college application essay he's working on. "It's about the most fascinating person that I've never met," his son starts by asking, "Who are you?" As a plane flies overhead, Whip replies, "That's a good question.